Hi, I'm Tae Kang of Harbor Freight Tools for Schools, and I'm excited to talk to you today about establishing the right rituals and routines for your skilled trades program. Excellent skilled trades education has the power to change lives inside and outside the classroom. Over the past 7 years of operating the Harbor Freight Tools for Schools Prize for Teaching Excellence, we have been remarkably impressed by all the work teachers do to make their students feel at home in their skilled trades classrooms, to create spaces where students feel welcomed, safe, engaged, and ready to thrive. I'm excited to introduce Mark Simmons, an automotive and diesel teacher at Springfield High School in Oregon, and a winner of the 2022 Harbor Freight Tools for Schools Prize for Teaching Excellence, who will share his insights on establishing the rituals and routines that assist in an outstanding skilled trades classroom management and culture.
My name is Mark Simmons. I teach diesel and automotive at Springfield High School here in Springfield, Oregon. I grew up in a rural background. I was in the Air Force for 6 years. And I worked in aviation another 10 years after I got out of the Air Force. And I managed an aircraft maintenance company. And finally, I decided to go back to school using my veterans benefits, and that's how I became a teacher, teaching CTE. I want to give all my students the education that I would give my own daughter, that I want her to have the best. And that's what I try to do every day. I was a member of the United States Air Force, and I did a 6-year tour. And in that time, I got to work on F-16s, F-4s, and I got to work on the stealth fighter in my last assignment. The biggest thing that I would say it has had an impact on me is the Air Force has an organization system for everything that you do. And I still bring in my records from the military that shows every job that I ever did, and being certified on that job, I show that to the students, how I had to climb the list and go through the jobs that I could do. And but the organization systems were probably the biggest thing that it actually brought to my classroom. Every morning I come in an hour before class starts, and I do a complete walk through the entire facility. Being here alone and reflecting on, what the kids did the day before, what I want them to do that day, and looking over the facility and looking over the work that they are in the middle of, it gives me that time that I need to do to reflect on what they've done and what I want them to do this day. One thing that they really like is they like organization. When you put organization systems in place, they fall into those routines very easily and handily. When a kid walks into my class on the first day, they're going to have an assigned seat. From there on out, it's just organization all the way around, from their cleanup assignments to the jobs that they're going to be doing. It's just following that routine again and again and again. I build the first conversation of the day around what we call an EQ, an essential question. They're a way for the kids to start getting primed for what we're doing that day. And the essential question, it can be built around something that we're doing, or it can be built around something that happened. There's a lot of different ways that I approach that essential question. I start with the essential question because in a learning environment, we don't learn just by ourselves, right? That we rely on each other in a social environment for learning. So that essential question is a big part of the learning piece. We learn in teams, we learn from each other, we learn socially, we don't learn individually. Since we have implemented the essential question routine, the kids communicate better with each other. No matter what trade you go into, you have to have communication skills. And the essential question gives the kids that platform to do that essential communicating that they have to do and that they will be required to do in their future careers. At the beginning level classes, you will see kids using checklists for everything that they do, for engine disassembly, for engine measuring, reassembly of engines. But as you progress through my classes, my mid and advanced level, what you will see is you will see kids creating their own checklist. You will see them using information technology, different manuals that we use on the computer in the shop, creating their own checklist for the jobs that they do. So I start them off with giving those checklists, and then I wean them over to where they are finding the information themselves and building those checklists themselves. Closed note taking is where I provide the bulk of the written notes to the students. The students have to fill in key words and key concepts. And I also leave room in the notes for them, for things that I didn't think of and things that I want to add and examples that I can give them. What those closed notes do is they allow my students to be a part of the conversation. They're not so focused on the writing. And the other thing is time. Time is our mortal enemy in an auto shop class. So anywhere that I can save time, and in that note taking, a lot of students are slow with taking the notes. So the closed note taking, again, two things: saves time, and it allows them to be a part of the conversations that we have on the subjects that we're talking about. The job packets center our students, and it centers me as a teacher. I create a job list, and the job list is always changing, but it's a custom job packet that matches the equipment and the cars that we have in the shop. So it's not a stagnant thing. It's morphing and changing all the time to meet my needs and the needs of the student. It centers how I lecture in the classroom and the work that I assign in the shop. And it leads the students through. We do try to make what the kids do fun. And there's a couple ways that we do it. We create some competitions, like we create a competition on the tire machines where the kids compete against each other, and we give prizes and hats and things like that that have been donated. It gives them a break in the normal routine. My students at different levels get different. When they enter Auto 1, they get their first t-shirt, and it says SH Automotive and Diesel Technology, and then they get their name on it. And that starts with the Auto 1 class. And then at the next levels, they get a button-up t-shirt, and then they get a hoodie. You take any sports team, and they have their own logos. And what it does is it instills a pride in our program and a team concept. I mean, you know, kids light up when I take them to a job fair and someone calls them by their name, and their name is right there. It's an automatic conversation starter. Well, how long have you been in the SHS automotive program? And then that pulls the kids out of their shells, and it really increases that communication piece with them. Cleanup is an investment. I invest in mops and brooms the same way that I invest in my tooling. I normally have 17 mops and 17 brooms, half the number of mops and brooms for the number of students that are in the class. When a student comes in at a freshman level, it's not, are we going to clean up? It's an assumption that we will teach you cleanup routines. And many of our students have never used a mop, and some of them have never used a broom. So it's something that we actually have to teach. It's not a question of do we do this or do we not do it. Everybody does it. Everybody has a cleanup job. Our cleanup routines, what they instill in the kids is pride. You know, they're taking care of this facility. And you will see it. Sometimes a student will drop a paper towel and another student will say, hey, pick up that paper towel. I'm not going to sweep that up for you, you know. Normally at least once a month. We do make the major cleanups fun. Pizza, donuts, sodas. Our kids like cleanup, especially the major ones, because they're socializing while they're cleaning up. They're talking, you know. And it's outside of having to do the mechanical work. So it's a little stress-free. It's a stress-free time. As important as the beginning of the class day is, the ending of the day is also important. And I end each day in the shop facility, not in the classroom, with a stand-up meeting where all the kids are coming, they're getting checked off for their jobs, but as that process comes to a close, I talk about what I saw that day, I talk about what's coming next, and often I like to thank the kids for the work that they have given me that day. And it's also a time for me to banter, and it's that back and forth personal relationship that helps connect to those kids. As a teacher, you are adapting all the time, all the time. You know, sometimes maybe that cleanup gets cut a little shorter because you see this learning moment where, you know, you look out over the shop and 100% engagement, and those kids just want to work, you know. So it's like, okay, we won't sweep today, we will only do tooling today. Tooling only today. We'll go from a 10-minute to a 4-minute cleanup because we're in just such a rhythm. You are adapting with each new generation of students that is coming in, and then you are adapting on the spot every day. A tip that I would give out to anyone that's coming out of industry would be to go watch a good teacher teach. And because everybody has gone to school, they think they know what school is. And it was pretty mind-blowing. Like this picture that I had in my head of what students were doing and what a high school setting looked like, it was totally different when I came in. And so my biggest advice would be, if you're thinking about coming into a teaching position, is find one of the best teachers that is well known in your community and go watch them teach. So that is my advice, is fly, drive, go wherever you can and see what a good experienced teacher and program looks like. You know, it's not only what I do here, but it's what I do at home. You know, it's getting up early, it's getting my cup of coffee in at 4:30, it's doing my workout at 5, and it's getting ready for that challenge of the day. You know, like, I look at every day as a challenge, and while I'm here, I try to give those kids 100%.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We wish you all the best.